show, please hit the like button. What Kansas City did to stop the Eagle run attack, they had great lane integrity. They made sure they had every lane covered. I thought the Giants got out of their lane responsibilities and integrity, and I thought San Francisco towards the second half of the NFC Championship game trying to make things happen because the quarterback was out. I thought they gambled. Kansas City didn't gamble. They did not. They kept their lane integrity. They did not go for false reads. They did not go for false steps. They kept their lane integrity. You may not see a gigantic stat total from Chris Jones, but he was spectacular in that game. He forced everything back inside. He made sure, and for the record, outside of Hurts, nobody had any kind of numbers in the run game outside of Jalen Hurts. You take that 70 yards away from Jalen Hurts, your starting quarterback. You had 115 yards rushing. You take 70 off that. Your guys were non-existent. Linebackers kept their integrity, kept everything inside out. Forced everything back inside. They set the edges well. Did everything great. They are a well-coached football team. That had to be a priority in the preparation against the Eagles. Because you know what they do, the Eagle offensive line? They have a lot of influence blocks. And a lot of guys bite on those blocks. You know how many times you see a guy crashing down, Jalen gets out wide, and he's up the field, right? You didn't see that against Kansas City at all. Kansas City kept their lane integrities. They made sure gap control was the essential. You may not make a play, but it dictated the play calling. They were so smart. You see, Kansas City wasn't looking to win a quarter. Kansas City was looking to win the game. It's like the old George Foreman adage I told you. George was never looking to win rounds. He wanted to win the fight. And in the end, Kansas City won the fight because they were a better coached, better schooled, better prepared football team than Philly. How do you beat an opponent that is superior to you in so many ways? You're better prepared. This is common freaking sense. When you've got an opponent that's got the physical advantage on you, you have to be smarter than them. And they were. They were better prepared, better coached, and they kept their patience. Poise and patience. Like you said, you can look at Chris Jones's numbers and go, oh, I don't see it. I don't see it. If you watch the game, though, you watch how he turned everything back inside to the linebackers and to pursuit. Your running game was shut down completely. You know, it's one thing to shut down the Eagle passing game, but in 2 years, have you ever seen the Eagles shut down like that in the run game? And what's funny, Andy did it to you last year too. Andy knows how to beat that team. Andy's your kryptonite. You know why? Better coaching. It's for, you're going to get a lead on Andy when you have better talent, but you got the quarterback that could throw you out of trouble. Do you know something about Patrick Mahomes? You want to hear a stat on him? Patrick Mahomes, it has like a 650 win percentage with 20 or more starts being down 10 points coming back to win. Brady's at 37%. This guy's at 650. Because you have a lead on him, that don't mean you're beating him. Mahomes, he's a freak of nature. You know what? Mahomes is the greatest talent at quarterback I've seen since Dan Marino. The impact that he's having in the passing game is the same impact that Marino brought to the NFL when everyone started watching this guy throw the ball 45 times all around the yard with Duper and Clayton. Everyone was like, what is going on? Everyone ran the ball. There's still running backs in the game like there are back in the day. They're all receivers today. Look at M. Reyes. M. Reyes is now saying that Hurts is better than Patrick Mahomes. Guys won 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, 5 straight conference title games. He's got 4 AFC championship wins, and Hurts is better. And he's 27. Really? Okay. Hey, win something significant like that kid first before you start barking any bullshit like that. Love to see how Jalen responded after the turnover. I did too, Alex. Once again, Alex, Jalen Hurts was spectacular in that game. He was spectacular. Okay? He was spectacular. I don't think you could have asked him to do more. Okay, wait. The turnover sucked out loud for him. I felt for him on that. Jalen's going to go back into the laboratory and work even harder. I'll tell you what, man. I mean, rooting against him looks like it is a non-win proposition for people. And for me, once again, the only reason that I wouldn't want Jalen Hurts as my starting quarterback, I just don't have faith in that style of play because there's not a big sample size of people lasting long with that style of play. It's not sustainable. 15 carries a game, it's not sustainable. You're going to get hurt. I think it's going to be very interesting to see if he does need the surgery that I think he does need. Yale goes, he'll be better next year. Depends on what's around him, Yale. Steven goes, the offense is legit. Defense got exposed. Yes. But Steven, I've been saying that defense isn't who they are all year long. I never bought it. And you guys know this. I never wavered on that. I never wavered that coordinator's not good enough. I completely 100% kept telling you that guy ain't the guy. Because his style and his mentality didn't coexist with being a guy who's an innovator at coordinator. Okay? Plug and play is not a coordinator. They couldn't stop the run. He didn't fix it. Howie did. Right? It wasn't that the prime moment you knew it wasn't him as a coordinator? He never, when Dan Quinn and the Cowboys had some issues stopping the run early in the year, what did he do? He came up and he schematically changed things, and the Cowboys got a little better, right? When it came to stopping the run. How did Gannon and the Eagle coaches handle stopping the run when they were 22? They got around 16 at the end of the year. They didn't schematically change anything. They went and got players. That's not coaching. That's not coaching. Well, if I'm not good enough, so wait a minute. Let me ask you this. So what's the reason now that Jonathan Gannon can't stop elite quarterbacks? Last year it was talent. What's it this year? We're running out of excuses, folks. You're running out of excuses for him. Hey, Nick, you're running out of excuses. I hope Gannon gets the Arizona job. I think Steichen would be more in line for that gig. Dude, you're running out of excuses. We don't have the players to run my system. Okay, so they got him. He got into the most important game of the year. He shit the bed. What's the excuse now? Players didn't show up. I guarantee you. Don't blame the players, not the coaches. Coaches don't blame players. I mean, coaches don't blame themselves. They blame players. They blame players. But the problem here is this. You've been telling us this bullshit all year long. What's your excuse now, dude? Oh, the field. The field was atrocious. The field was completely atrocious. Okay? It was. I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves, the NFL, for putting that game on that field. That was an absolute crime to have that like that. That was terrible. I mean, the players could have got injured big time on that thing. After a while, it was hard to watch. Guys were slipping and sliding so much. It was terrible. The absolutely horrible play calling or refereeing, officiating, and the field itself, and the halftime show, which I thought was mediocre. I didn't think the NFL put a good show on. I think the Eagles and the Chiefs put a great show on, but I don't think the NFL did. I didn't think Rihanna was that hot. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. Hey, it's cool that she's pregnant for her second child. That's great. But really, I don't know. Rihanna wasn't that hot. I didn't think that halftime performance was great. I've seen 10 times better. The field sucked. I thought Fox did a nice job putting it on. But outside of that, the game was spectacular. I mean, the NFL's lucky that nobody had any devastating injuries like Yale said. Yeah, Rihanna was boring. It was a terrible show, I thought. Everyone's afraid to say that. And that's a Jay-Z production. That thing was terrible. Didn't really do anything for me. Man, I've seen dude, last year's was great. Last year's was awesome. I loved all the rappers in LA. I thought that was awesome. I thought I'd like to have had some more. No, I thought Greg did a great job, man. I thought he did a really good job. And you know what? You saw the passion of a player at the end of the game when the refs made that holding call on Bradbury. That was more of a player going, man, are you really going to call that play right there? Now, see, that's a bad take by him because if it's holding, whether it's in a critical part of the game or in the beginning of the game, you call that play because it's holding, not because of the timing of the game. So that was but again, it was emotion. Okay? It was emotion. So it brought it in, I mean, I'm all right with it. I texted Greg and told him. I thought it was okay. All right? Prince and Bruno were awesome. Those were great shows. I was at the Prince show. Sills, I got to give it to you. You called it about the defense all year. You know what, AT? You want to hear something that really sucks? Watch this. I really am sorry, AT, that my take was right. Man, there's certain takes that you have sometimes when you do a show you just hope is not true. But it was. AT, I guess, thank you. You know what I'm saying, dude? No, you can't blame the refs. You know what I mean? Okay? You know what I mean? That's the kind of shit you don't want to be right. But Sills, you were allowing ticky-tack all game and then you wait. I know, man. I mean, you did have it, Chris. Man, that's the disappointing thing about this. Hey, Big Sills. How about that call come behind the line of scrimmage? Oof. Dude, I'm going to say it one more time too, man. Can I tell you the play that really aggravated me the most was that Quez Watkins drop. Okay, that Quez Watkins drop, man. Oh, my God. Seriously, first thing I thought was Alshon Jeffries. I just went like this. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. How do you – dude, it was Jalen put that thing right on his hands. You've got to catch that kid. CD says Davis was a non-factor. Keep seeing 72 instead of 90 and on the fourth down line scheme. Dude, his rookie year sucked. Quez Watkins is a marshmallow. Got to upgrade that position. And if Zach Pascal can't do it, get his ass out of there. Dude, bring in Odell Beckham. Bring in Beckham. Bring in somebody. Bring in a seasoned guy. You're not going to get a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, but bring somebody in with experience at that 3-hole. Okay? Bring someone in there. Dude, can you imagine? Or how about a pass-catching running back? Might that help? How about a pass-catching running back? Right? Fletcher Cox, Sue, Davis, Hardgrave, all blew out loud Sunday night. A slot guy? Yeah. Dude, you know what they need, though? Yeah, I'll take a guy like Tony Pollard. You think Sanders is gone? If Miles Sanders was on my football team, Marcus, I'd have made him take the Greyhound home. He was so bad, I'm not even going to tell his agent I'm not offering him a contract. I don't think I have to. I don't think I owe it to him. You know why? He didn't show up for the Super Bowl. Why should I give him the benefit of telling him we don't want him here anymore? Quez isn't number 3? Well, who is? Who's your number 3 guy? Zach Pascal? Holy cow, you need to upgrade that position along with your special teams. Miles was disappointing. Hey, Torrance, that's an understatement of the year. Would you sign Josh Jacobs? No. Hey, if you learned any, how many people think Jalen Hurts is elite? How many people think Jalen Hurts is elite? Okay. How many people think Jalen Hurts has solidified that where he's elite? How many people think Jalen's elite? Dibben goes, I do. Eric, I do. Not elite. He's dynamic. He's on the way. James goes, I don't think. Not yet. I don't. Jalen is very good. Top 7. Still think Jalen's worth, you mean 50, not 5. He's on his way, Sills. Jalen is great, not elite yet. He can become elite, but he is great. Here's why I ask you this question. I'm going to get to the free agents here in a minute. Here's why I ask you. If Jalen Hurts is that elite, I'm letting half that team go on defense. I'm gonna draft a guy at cornerback at 10. I'm going to take a edge rusher at maybe 30 or trade down. I might even take that 10th pick and trade down and get more picks, quality picks. It's a very deep draft when it comes to corners. I may trade down, get another first-round pick. I may trade out of that 32nd or 31st pick. I may trade out of that now. I may go as young as the Chiefs. The Chiefs have 2 corners on rookie deals. Who's in better shape? The Eagles or the Chiefs? Yeah. I never thought I'd ever say this. Who's in better shape at corner? Kansas City or the Eagles? I think it's Kansas City. You're not paying but $3 million for 2 corners combined. And you want to pay $50 million. or $30 million on 2 corners, you're not in very good shape. The Chiefs are in better shape than you defensively. The kid from Purdue was kind of a factor, set the edge well. The only guy they're paying on that defense is Chris Jones. The only guy. And most of them are on. Do you know that at one time this year, Kansas City had 9 rookies starting? 9 rookies. And Howie had 16 one-year free agents. Kansas City's in better shape because the quarterback and coach than the Eagles are. If they keep their coaching staff together, why wouldn't they be favorites next year to win the Super Bowl? The Eagles aren't in very good shape defensively heading into the offseason. That Eagle defense was exposed coaching and player-wise. Kaiser White played well against David Mills, Daniel Jones, and Josh Johnson. Not the name list you want to write home about. How he's going to re-sign Hargrave. Let's look at this now. Man, you had it. I don't mean to be this guy to you guys, but you had it. Man. You had it. Watch this. Let me do this before I get to the free agents. Eagle players that are on the official milk carton. If you've seen these players, please call 1-800-NovaCare Center. Miles Sanders, Quez Watkins, Hassan Reddick, DTs, pick one. LBs, linebackers, pick one. Cornerbacks, pick one. Coaches, pick one. Pick one. Man, could taste it. Just so well coached, that football team. All right, 2023 free agents. March 12th starts the new calendar year for the NFL. Fletcher Cox, you're gone. $14 million, $32 million. No, thank you. I have no room on my roster because I need a roster of production. You're out. Robert Quinn, you're out. Brandon Graham. I want Brandon Graham back. 13.3, he's 35 years old. He had a really good year. This is what I'm doing with Brandon Graham. Like to have him come back. I'll give him $5 million. Put incentives on it. He can come back. Okay? He can come back at $5 million, not 13.3. Okay? $5 million. And by the way, I want him back. Javon Hargrave, $13 million. It's going to cost you about $15 million. I want him back. Kelsey, $9 million. I want him back. All pro year. I'd love to have this guy back. Okay? Especially for Jalen. Bradbury, out. I'm not paying $15 million for that guy. And especially if you're going to play the same scheme. If you're going to play the same scheme, I'm not paying $15 million for a zone coverage corner. We've made these corners sound like they're Darrelle Revis. They're not. If you're going to play a zone coverage, why would I pay 15? As far as I'm concerned, Darius Slay and James Bradbury had the year off. They had the year off. Played no quarterbacks, played nobody of any significance whatsoever, and they played zone coverage the entire year. You know what that means? You know what they're telling you? Don't get beat deep. Hey, they can have all the passes underneath all they want. As long as they don't beat you deep, we're good. That's not an elite corner. That's not an elite corner. Sauce Gardner plays press coverage every freaking play. That's an elite lockdown guy. No, thank you. $16 million? Sayamalo's a tough one because I don't think he had a good Super Bowl. I think Chris Jones beat him up. But I think he had a great year. But that guy's going to command $13 million. I'm going to put a question mark by him because the Eagles aren't going to pay this. Watch. You're not going to pay $17 million for your left tackle, $15 million for your right tackle, $10 million for your center, and $14 million for your right guard. You're just not when you got to pay the quarterback. So because of economics, I'll do it now. Sayamalo's out. Can't afford him. This is where the salary for the quarterback starts to become an issue. Dillard, get this fat ass out of there. I'm sick of his bitching, too. I'm sick of him telling people what he can and can't do. I can't play this left guard spot. I can't play this right tackle spot. I can't. Dude, I'm sick of you. When all hands are on deck, I need you. I don't need you to tell me what you can do for me. You should be telling the team what you can do for them, especially as a backup. Dude, if you were a frontline starter, I get it. But you have been an underachieving fat turd in Philly. You have been a headache. You have been, in theory, a bust. Been babying this conversation. He's a bust. And he's a pain in the ass. Shit, dude, Jack Driscoll at least tries. Get him out of my locker room. Out. I don't give a shit. And he'll start somewhere. You're a backup. When Jeff Stoutland comes to you and says, hey, we need some help at left guard, I don't want to hear a debate. I don't want to have a conversation. All I want to hear is, Coach, I'm here if you need me. Coach, I'm here. You need me, I'm here. Philly 500, Big Sills. This one hurts bad. This is worse than losing to the Bucks the last game at the Vet. Hurts was great. Gannon has to go. Philly 500, thank you. Let me tell you one more. You popping in here. Jalen Hurts was spectacular. Jonathan Gannon was exposed. He was exposed when Kansas City was running those crossing routes in the second half. Eagle guys were running into one another. This was varsity versus JV coaching. The entire Eagle coaching staff should have a come to Jesus conversation. Maybe you should go where Aaron Rodgers is in that dark room and sit there and do your penance. Because you got a lot to answer to. I mean, Jalen Hurts, the fumble, and by the way, I thought probably somebody thought I was going to kill him. The fumble sucked. It was a horrible play. Worst play in his NFL career. However, that was the best game he's played as an NFL player. Jalen Hurts was spectacular. There's not, you can't say any. DeQuez Watkins' drop was atrocious. It was an Alshon Jeffries moment. Of all the passes I've seen in Eagle recent history that I've been kind of covering the team, the Alshon Jeffries in New Orleans and that thing in Glendale yesterday, two of the biggest drops in the history of the franchise. One would have put you in the NFC title game, and the other one maybe would have given you a Super Bowl. Quez deleted his Twitter. He should. That drop will haunt his career forever. And by the way, I don't give a shit if people like what I'm saying about them. They're nothing personal, kid. You blew out loud. I don't know you from a can of paint. I'm talking about how you looked on Sunday night. Kaiser White, $3 million. I'm keeping the guy. I don't think Nakobe Dean's a player yet. That guy hasn't shown me he can play. And by the way, I'm not in the prediction and I'm not in the business of fortune telling. So far, what I've seen in Nakobe Dean, I don't see it. And I'm not just going to take a whim that he just shows up and he turns into Derek Brooks. I don't believe it. And until he shows me he's got some ability, how do you move off of Kaiser White? He's $3 million. I'm not going into the draft to get a rookie. Nakobe Dean hasn't shown me shit. You want to sit here and pretend that he's a good player when you haven't seen him all year? Hey. Yale goes, how we may push him. Well, then guess what you'll do? You'll push your defense into trouble. Because next year on the schedule, you're playing some quarterbacks in the AFC. You're going to be playing guys who make Jonathan Gannon look like a school teacher. Hey, will somebody do me a favor? Hey, Tone, will you put some of the AFC teams up that the Eagles are playing against next year? Some of the teams with the elite quarterbacks on them. Guys that can throw it around the yard, please, if you can. You're not playing guys like David Mills and Kenny Pickett. You're going to be playing against guys that own you. Here we go. You may be playing against Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Patriots, Mac Jones, you'll probably be okay there. Dak has done a really great job on you. There's Daniel Jones. Arizona, Kyler Murray, I don't know. You better hope it's early. 49ers, you're going to get a healthy quarterback with a great – you're playing Josh Allen. You're playing Geno Smith. You're playing Patrick Mahomes. Who knows who's going to be in Tampa? So you got Tua also. Whatever you guys think of Josh Allen, I think less of Jonathan Gannon. Well, Josh Allen's a turnover machine. Your coach is a fraud. Your coordinator's a fraud. Josh Allen turns the ball over. Still won 14 games. Still won 14 games. Should we hope Gannon gets hired elsewhere? Well, he ain't leaving. He's not getting a job after that performance. Does anybody actually think Jonathan Gannon is going to get a job after what just happened? You better, hey, would it shock you if Indianapolis hired him? Probably not. Probably not. Arizona's pretty stupid. It is the Bidwells. Good point, Chris. Okay? The real. You're probably right. I mean, it is the bid. I mean, look, the Bidwells and the Ursays. I'm probably not thinking there's really a smart dude in the room between the two. So probably. You remember what I told you a couple weeks ago when I was telling you guys, you think any heat's on Nick Sirianni? You guys said no. How do you think Howie feels about Nick Sirianni right now? How do you think Howie feels about Nick Sirianni? Remember I told you, do you think there's any heat on Nick Sirianni for this Super Bowl. Oh, no way. Conrad Dobler died? Man, I got a really great card up here from him. I got to find that. I got to find that card from Conrad. Oh, don't tell me Conrad died. Man, Conrad Dobler died? He's really a great dude. I got a great card up there somewhere from him. Ugh. Cardiac cards. Hey, guys, how do you think how he feels about Nick Sirianni right now? How do you think he feels about him? Obnoxious Guinea. ATLT. Very Philly-ish, but okay, you know. Yeah, an obnoxious Guinea. An obnoxious Guinea. I think I've had people say that to me before. Hey, I think I've had people say it. I'd love Lovie Smith in the building, but they can't have anybody like Lovie in there. But Lovie's mild-mannered, man. I'd love to have him. Press coverage, foreign concept again. And, dude, you don't have the best corners when you play zone coverage. Oh, man. Let me finish up the free agency, and we'll go from there, okay? Let's do this. I've got to take a time out here. Let's hit the like button. I'll finish this up. Where do you go from here? What do you take from this game if you're the players and the coaching staff heading into the offseason here? We'll do that next. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National.